I just want to give you like an open-ended last question. You talked about not knowing what you didn't know, and now that you've gone through the shortlisting of schools, the application to schools, the non-COVID experience, the COVID experience, the recruiting. You're in the middle of your recruiting process right now. What do you just kind of wish you knew before this whole thing? You mentioned it's a long transition. I'm wondering, if you just had any last words about kind of what you wish you knew. I mean, that's why people are tuning into the show.
Of course. Should we apply this to the scope of older candidates or all candidates?
Both.
So I wish I knew how much personal development was going to be involved and what a transformative experience it was going to be, like I've mentioned earlier on. I was not in store for the type of emotional intelligence applications in the classes, into the individual projects, and how much psychology and organizational behavior would play into it. Loved it. Want more of it. I wish I knew how heavy quant would be in the MBA program. I know you expect it to be heavy. It's a business program. It's incredibly heavy. I wish I had done a bit more preparation prior to starting, because my first semester, I was thrown into the deep end of management science, of analytics for business, and it was difficult. It was really difficult, especially in an accelerated program that moves very fast. So if you start at, in a class, you start at in the 3-hour class, you start at level 1 and they end up at level 30. And if you get lost at level 10, right. 11 is challenging, 12 is impossible, 13 you're completely lost. So I wish I had done more prep work prior. The GRE or the GMAT really preps you and helps you, for I think a lot of people, not for me, refamiliarize yourself with a lot of these concepts, whereas I was learning them fresh. But definitely much more studying to begin with. I think for non-native English speakers, I highly recommend the GRE if the school you're looking at will accept it. There is a lot of focus on vocabulary and grammar, and now having gone to school in an international program that's taught in English, it's a necessity, especially for all of the communications, all of the reports, and all of the way of being able to discuss all of these projects. You have to be a clear communicator and a collaborator. So let me just make sure. Be prepared for psychology. Study lots of math.
Just on the study math point, would you recommend anything beyond MBA math or would preparation be taking like the core offered by other top business schools online before?
Completely. I wish I had gone back and taken an online class, like a really structured class, other than going at my own pace, or being able to decide what I wanted to learn from those or different components of those programs, and doing an actual registered class. If I could afford it, I would have gone with more tutors to have gone through.
Gotcha.
Definitely, because it made it much more challenging for me and much more time consuming, where I wasn't able to really soak up sort of the other components of the first semester, because I was really busy focused just trying to keep my head above water in these areas.
Gotcha.
And for the engineers and the analysts, this was nothing new to them. And they were really able to just sort of spit this stuff out and then focus on their development on the things that they were on to learn, whereas I struggled with this a lot. And learning it there and overcoming it was amazing. It was an amazing experience to be able to not only learn those things then, but be able to apply them every day in life now. But yes, study more. There's never enough quant. And maybe if you can figure this out at the school you're applying to, figure out what that first semester curriculum is and go and study those subjects. Because the entire transitionary process from life back to a student setting and in a curriculum where you're not operating in a business atmosphere with your colleagues, you're now in an educational system sitting at a desk in a room with your backpack or your briefcase every day. no, being more prepared for the specific tailored program would be highly beneficial because everything else is so distracting.
That's great advice. So I cut you off mid sentence. You were listing off a few more things. What you wish you knew.
Um, yeah, I wish I knew about all the personal development. I wish I knew about all of the quant, or how detailed it was. The other thing, which I thought I did a good job of this, but maybe not enough, is I think understanding who the alumni network and where their expertise lies.
Mm.
I thought I did a good job, and I wish I did a better job of networking more with the current cohort of the school that you're applying to
Mm.
and the alumni to find out really what they found beneficial from the program and if they ended up sort of using a lot of the learnings of the program or even in their roles where they were. RSM, a lot of the reason I chose the program, besides its people, its faculty, it's being cornered in sustainability, its location, its price for the program compared to the American programs that I was accepted to, was their specialties. And RSM in particular is a very research heavy school. Tons of research, tons of analysis, a lot of thought going into sharing research with the world. That being said, they are big in supply chain and logistics. I'm not a supply chain guy. I learned a lot. Could have learned more. And I think that there are certain programs that cater to things like this. Like if you are interested in supply chain, being at RSM in the port of Rotterdam,
Right.
Europe's largest port,
Yeah.
this is the place for supply chain. And knowing things like that will be really beneficial to incoming candidates who are looking at specific schools. I don't know what schools are great for bankers or for investment banking or for private equity or for consulting, but talking to all of these alumni and seeing exactly what they think were at their time, it depends how long it's been since they were in school. Um, if they thought those were feeders into their current roles or the roles that you want that align with your profile, who you are, that would be really beneficial. I think any MBA value education is incredibly valuable, but I think feeding into the alumni network it's like an accelerant for that.
Mm. Yeah, it's basically like a rocket ship, right? Depending on what you want to do.